got it. I'm sure Dr. Bart will be on. So you know what? I'll just start talking, and then when Perry gets on,
here he is.
There's the Master Blaster.
Here he is.
There's the Master Blaster.
7 o'clock, baby. Good to see everybody. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Well, look at all these. Look at these brand new faces up in the Great White North. Ooh, chilly. I wish I was at the meat market. That's all I could say this weekend. I'm not going to say who was, but all I'm going to say is welcome to the family. This will be awesome tonight. And this is really, you know what we're going to do is you guys know the rules. You know how we play. So we're going to wait for the room to fill up. There's the star of the show tonight. And we're going to wait for the room to fill up a little bit, just a couple of minutes. Then we're going to do the deep dive into what tonight is all about. I'm going to talk a little bit. Dr. Kaplan's going to talk a little bit. And Dr. Rosenberg is going to talk a lot of it tonight. So if I'm you guys, what I would do always is I would get a piece of paper out and I would start taking some notes. And everybody looks super chill. Oh, look at all these. You know, I'm laughing because you know why I'm laughing. The king of EBITDA is here. And if you don't know what that means, we're going to talk all about that. So this is so awesome for us. We're going to as you can see, the room starts to fill up. It's starting to fill up. We're going to give it a few more minutes for it to fill up, and then we're going to go right into it. And I can't tell you how excited we are tonight. Dr. Moyle's here, you know, broadcasting from the Moyle Mobile. Yes, that's his Descendants of America wrapped car. That's so cool. I got a chance to speak to him about an hour ago. And, you know, this is really special for us. And the reason it's special for us is because this is the first training of the year on Zoom, as we promised, for our family of doctors only. So in other words, this is a private training tonight. So in other words, you have to be part of our family to, number one, get an invite, and number two, to show up. So this is not for the rest of the profession. This is not for the minor leaguers. This is for the major leaguers. This is for the stars. This is for the champions. This is for the Hall of Famers. This is for the doctors that said, you know what? The clock is ticking. I want to do this bigger, better, and more than I ever have. And what better way to learn than really a doctor who really lives the code? And when I say lives the code, this is a doctor that made a commitment to herself, to her family, to her practice, to her patients, and yes, to her future, to say, you know what, I'm going to go all in, and then I'm going to take the tools. I'm going to take the tools, and I'm going to start to really plug the tools in, and then I'm going to put my own little special sauce on it. I'm going to tweak it. I'm going to master it. I'm going to multiply it. And I'm going to continue to make it bigger, better, and more, because Dr. Rosenberg practices in a very, very unique market. And I love, you know, Dr. Kaplan and I, you know, there's certain things. One day, I'm going to take a little camera. I'm going to take a little camera and I'm going to put it on my shoulder. And I'm going to walk around all day and I'm going to record my day. And my day is going to be, it's always going to include Dr. Kaplan in my day. And you're going to hear the conversations that we're hearing. And I'll tell you what we hear. One of the things we hear when we talk to doctors that are not part of our family, obviously, but doctors often that call us and they'll say, you know, my area, it's so competitive. There's so many chiropractors in my market. There's so many doctors in my area. And you know, I think I need to go to a town, a farming town where there's a lot of Mennonites. That's an inside joke for those of you who might know that there is a difference between Amish and Mennonites, or as Dr. Kaplan would say, Mormon. But Mormon's like a whole different group. That's a whole different group. I learned something this weekend. You want me to share it with you? Raise your hand if you want me to share it with you. Raise your hand if you want me to share. Yeah, there's one hand. There's two hands. There's three hands. All right, good. I'll share something with you that I was always super curious about. And this is what I'll share with you. I don't know if you're like me, but when I, through the years, would go to a hotel, the first thing that I would do, first thing for years and years, is I would open the drawer or go to the closet and I would go right to the yellow pages. Fact, I'd go right to the yellow pages. And where am I looking in the yellow pages? I'm going right to the chiropractic section. Fact. Why do I go there? Because I want to see if there's any old friends of mine, classmates of mine. I want to see how they're marketing. I want to see what the area is vibrant for. I want to see the pulse of the area. I want to see, are they full page ads? Are they double ads? Are they dollar bill ads? Are they little ads? Are they use that old A. Aiken? You know what I'm talking about? See, A. Aiken Chiro, 3 A's, put you at the top of the listing. So I'm looking at that, and I was always super curious why. I was always super curious how the Mormons were able to get their Bible into every hotel. Did you ever notice that? Did you ever go to a Marriott? Ever go to a Hilton? Ever go to a Hyatt? Did you ever notice that the Church of Latter-day Saints Bible is in the drawer with the section of the chiropractors, by the way? And by the way, if you ever go to a hotel and you go to the chiropractic section, and you're looking through the yellow pages, and you see that, in essence, that that the chiropractors have been removed. In other words, it's been ripped out. You know what that means? It means that I was in that same exact hotel room because I'm the guy that ripped out the chiropractors from the yellow pages. Fact. Why? Because I wanted to go home and study it and learn it. I'm not going to carry the big book with me on the plane, but this is what I learned. I spoke to one of our doctors who actually is a Mormon. And I said, the Mormons, they're amazing. They're just amazing people because they're incredible marketing geniuses. I said, how in the world did they get their Bible of the Church of Latter-day Saints into every hotel? Every hotel it's in there. And you know what they told me? You ready for this? They said, well, it was kind of easy. And I said, why? And they said, because you know that the owners of the Marriott and the Hilton, and they went through it, are Mormons. And I said, wow. I said, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So great marketing. And if we learned anything, what do we learn? Dr. Kaplan always says to me, he goes, Dr. Bard always says these words. He says, success leaves clues. And guess what? Success leaves clues. He gives me credit for that, but I got news for you. I didn't invent that. I didn't invent that. But I believe in it. Dr. Kaplan understands it. He knows it, that it is so much easier. You could save years on your life. You can radically increase your income if you simply follow somebody who's already blazed the trail. Meaning, if you're a skier, do you want to ski in fresh powder and carve your brand new trail yourself? Not easy. That's how you break your leg. Or do you want to follow the path of somebody who's carving the trail, going at light speed, breaking records, and is, in her own genius, has such a big heart that says, I want to share this with our family only. I'm so thankful. I'm so appreciative. I'm so lucky to be able to be in this position. And the genius of her is the simple fact that this all started years ago. For many of you who are late to the dance and still joining our party here tonight before we get it rocking and rolling, there you go, this was actually invented years ago by a doctor many of you already knew or knew of. His name was Dr. Richard Lohr. And Dr. Lohr was a second-generation chiropractor whose father was a chiro, mother was a chiro, brother was a chiro, uncle was a chiro. And if you totaled all their incomes, nobody made as much money totaled as Dr. Lohr did. Dr. Lohr took the Disc Centers of America brand. He took our trainings. He took our lectures. He took our masterminds. He took our certifications. He never missed anything. He didn't. Every single one he was at, every single one he was at. He didn't miss anything. And he said, I'm so appreciative. I'm so thankful. I'm so happy. I want to give back to my brothers and sisters who are part of the same family as me. So what I want to do is I want to open up my office. Dr. Kaplan will tell the story, as you know, before we introduce Dr. Rosenberg tonight. And that is planes, trains, and automobiles in this small little town in Decatur, Illinois. You had a doctor go from 1 table to 2 tables, 2 tables to 4 tables, 4 tables to 8 tables, 8 tables to 12 tables. And the best part of it was this was a town where half of the populace was on some type of government assistance. In other words, this was not a lucrative town. And here he was like, as Dr. Kaplan would often say, like the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? We would, drive through all this cornfields. You'd get to his office. You were treated like gold. You were wowed in his reception area. You couldn't wait to whip out a credit card out of your pocket and to sign up for care. He did it one year. It was so popular. He agreed to do it a second year. Many of you were there, actually. I know there are doctors actually on this tonight that were physically there. And as you know the story, unfortunately, we never know when, as the clock ticks, we never know when it'll take the last tick. We just don't know how the universe works. And unfortunately, as a result, in essence, that was the last masterclass ever given at Dr. Law's office. For those of you who were there, congratulations. For those of you who have the videos, congratulations. For those of you who are on this tonight, our family of concierge coaches, this Centers of America doctors, we can't thank you enough for being here to listen to really one of the great doctors, really a doctor who in her own genius has taken all the tools that she was given and just simply mastered it. This weekend, we did a boot camp, we did a Cairo event, and we said these words. We said, very interesting, we said, it's kind of like a sport team. We think of ourselves as athletes. And Dr. Kaplan and I often think of ourselves really as coaches. And it's very interesting that you can give one doctor or one athlete a play, and you can give them the ball, and they can run, and guess what? They're going to get a first down. And as long as you get a first down, guess what happens in football? The clock, in essence, is moving, and you're moving towards a goal of putting points on the board. And in essence, you're keeping the ball out of the defense's hands. First downs are great. The more first downs you can get, the more wins you're going to have. But then you get athletes like Dr. Rosenberg, where basically we gave her the ball, and she didn't just get a first down. She put it in the end zone. But guess what? She put it in the end zone again and again and again and again. So in essence, her numbers, and a lot of you know her numbers, they started to become record-breaking. And these numbers became so record-breaking to the point where she went from 1 table to 2, 2 to 4. Now she has 8 AccuSpina tables. And she's doing things that are separate, unique, and different than the rest of you. And on one given day, on Saturday, May 20th, she's going to open up her heart. She's going to open up her mind. She's going to open up her office. She's going to open up her soul. But she's really going to open up her special sauce on how this will be a day unlike no other. That's what they say at the Masters. A day like no other, where if you get an opportunity to learn, trust me when I tell you, it will be not just a game changer, it'll be a life changer. So before we introduce her, I can talk all day about her, but instead, I know Dr. Kaplan wants to share some incredible stuff about Dr. Rosenberg. Maybe a little bit about the Dead Sea. I don't know. Maybe a little bit about Israel. I don't know. But really, in essence, really what makes Dr. Rosenberg and her family and her team unlike anyone else, and why you need to be there on Saturday, May 20th. Dr. Kaplan, take it away, brother.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I mean, it's so nice to see everybody here and sharing. And yes, this is unique. This is the first time we decided, you know what, with patients, as we get busier in life, it's important that we touch our patients. And as coaches, Perry and I, sometimes we like to touch our players. Why? As I've always said, and I've said to my son, the chiropractic is a great profession. It's not the easiest business. And although I could sit here and talk about how great Brigitte is, and some people are doing better than others, also there are people on this phone that might not have had a good day. Why is it that some days are better than other days? Why is it that some days we are more successful than others? So you know me with words. So today, my word of the day is win. What does it take to win? To win. To win at the game of practice. To take the ball, as Perry would say, into the end zone. So win to me is an acronym. And win, whatever is needed, whatever is necessary. And you know what? I get a kick out of Brigitte. And for a year, Brigitte was 100% PI, 100%, and didn't have a table. And she and I would have our little talks. And, you know, for those who think that today is about money, it's not. It's about family. It's about love. It's about spirit. Because here's a mother who embraces her son, Gabriel, who is such a dynamo. And here is a son that embraces his mother and a family that embraces a profession. And I will tell you, even if Brigitte talks about money, it's not just about money. She wants to give, even today, Brigitte, right? We're talking about, Dr. Kaplan, I have a case, and this is what's going on. And I want to get better results. Because see, when you have the win formula, you got to do whatever is needed. You got to do whatever is necessary. You have to understand what it takes, because the W is, what does it take to be successful? Why do you have to put this in? So here is Brigitte. It's not about money, right, Brigitte? So today we're talking about cervical problems, and we're looking at MRIs, and we're looking at things, and because of all the patients she has, Dr. Kaplan, this one's not doing as well as I want. Do you see? That's the win formula, to do whatever is needed. And I look you in the eyes, my beautiful woman, and I say to you, that's why I love you. Not because of how much money you make, not because of what a great mother you are, but because a great doctor you are. And that's my goal, doctors, is to make you better doctors. And understand that Brigitte, when she will talk today, she has nothing different than you, Vito, or you, Richard, or you, Scott, or you, Shelley, or you, Thomas, or you, Mark, or you, Larry, or you, Lisette, or you, Joe, my main man, Jay, Dr. Bay. I mean, what we have in us is we do whatever is necessary, win, whatever is necessary, whatever is needed. Because the time, if the I stands for that, it stands for information. How are you educating your patients? How are you informing your patients? Because the I stands for you. Basically, are you doing the best? Listen, what's a chiropractor that specializes in decompression and has two thumbs? This guy, because I love what I do. I love chiropractic. I love you, Vito. Corleone, Parmigiana. The point is, whatever is needed, I need to succeed. There's a story about Socrates, and Socrates said, what does it take to be successful? And Socrates said, walk with him. And they walk along the Mediterranean, right, Brigitte? And he takes them into the Mediterranean, and Socrates takes his head and dips him into the water, of which, by the way, Gabriel, I had a mikvah in the Jordan Sea where Jesus had his mikvah. So Jesus and I have something in common. What do we have in common? The water. He was a god, I'm not. So the point is, here I am with my rabbi dipping me into the Jordan River, and the Jordanese have machine guns on the other side. And I'm saying, what is it? What is needed? Win. What is needed for the world to be better? But what is needed to be the best doctor you can be? What is needed to love what you do? What is necessary to enjoy every day of your life? And I'm telling you, what Brigitte did today with me is, it's loving your patients, because the N stands for now. If the W stands what is needed and why should they choose you, and the I stands for information, the I stands for you, the N is now is the time. There has never been a better time for chiropractic than there is today. I mean, we have a guy, Perry, was just there this weekend. I coordinate with Dr. Wano. Dr. Wano, who just came to boot camp, closed 2 cases today, $7,200 in one day. Why? Because he did what is necessary. And what is necessary, doctors? Just educating the patients, giving an alternative to drugs, giving them an alternative to surgery. That's why guys like Dr. Reza come back. Mark Lasagio, you're another guy. Marcos Arulios, my Luca Brazzi. Okay, Mark always wants to be a better doctor. You know, That's why, listen, Perry and I spent 2 years writing this book. 2 years. But I'm asking you people, have you sat there and have you read it? Have you studied the research studies? Because see, Brigitte and I, we've spoken about it. So whatever is needed, whatever is necessary, the W stands for winning. Win. Why you? Vito, why should I choose you? And I'm going to tell you why. Because Vito, what you and Dr. Giaffrido and Marco Sage have in common is I know deep down you love your patients. You see, I tell my sons, we got to be more lovers and less tuggers. People don't choose you because of the money. So as Brigitte will talk today and share her experience, it's something that she wanted to do. And it's something that because not only is she educating her patients, she's opened up a life. And like I said, she went 1 year. And I would say, Brigitte, we need to do decompression. And she says, well, Dr. Kaplan, I'm not ready yet. Right? And I said, Brigitte, you need to do decompression. But Dr. Kaplan, I have such a good PI practice. And I said, Brigitte, and hold on, let me say this very successfully. Brigitte made a lot of money before she signed with Perry and I. But we know in PI, you're dependent on the attorneys. You're dependent on them. Oh, Mr. Attorney, please send me some more patients. Oh, Mr. Attorney, my practice is slow. Oh, Mr. Attorney, please don't cut my bill. And what Brigitte learns in her WIN formula is she found whatever's necessary. She says, you know what? I can control this. And now she almost enjoys doing decompression cases more than personal injury cases because you get paid in advance. Now, she's always been, Gabriel, I'm being very polite to your mother. She's always been beautiful, but I'm telling you, these glasses, I'm going to tell you, these glasses, Gabriel, right? And, you know, Gabriel is a very unique guy. So, you know, what we're here to do tonight is share. The purpose of these Zoom meetings tonight is to share. Because let me tell you something, what I see in Dr. Partiti, and I see this in the future of Dr. Heiler, is we have doctors that care. And listen, don't ever get me wrong. Don't think that I don't know who cares and who doesn't. I do. You know, I know who's been naughty and I know who's been nice. And Brigitte, you moved me today. So no, when we'll talk today, Brigitte, we'll talk about what it takes to be a better doctor. I mean, here we are, we're going over MRIs today, right, Brigitte? We're talking about C3, C4, C5. We're looking at the MRI report. So please understand, whatever she says tonight, and I have no idea what she's going to say, she doesn't just care about money. Listen, we all like money. It's good to make money. We don't need to work for free. We need to take pride in our profession. We need to win. We need to do whatever is needed. We need to be informative. We need to understand that the time is now, because now is the time for every one of you. Now is the time to educate your patients. Now is the time to be a better doctor. Now is the time to do the things that you need to do. And Brigitte, I am honored. I am honored and flattered. And by the way, I love your ceiling. That's a great ceiling, right? The little conference ceiling, very, very nice. Gabriel, your mother has good taste as well. So, and I went to the Dead Sea and I floated. I mean, amazing. I saw Jesus's tomb. It's amazing the world that we live in. And there are so many things that I've learned from Brigitte. There's so many things that I've learned from Perry, who also early on, okay, even when he drove to my office in a car that probably didn't have heat and didn't have air conditioning, and he probably had retread on his tires. But you know what? He wanted to make a difference in the world. But see, that's the question I'm going to ask you. Why? What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to make a difference? And if you do, Brigitte is a woman that will show you how to make a difference, how to do it with heart, how to do it with love, how to do it with compassion, how to do it with understanding. I will tell you this about this woman. She is not just a money maker. She's a great doctor. And as a result of being a great doctor, Gabriel, that's why she makes money. Do you understand? You make money because you're great, not because you want it. We all want it. I always said, if you're always chasing money, you're a slave. But if you can teach money how to chase you, you become the master. And Brigitte, you become a master. Go ahead, Perry, take it away.
So what we're going to do here today or tonight is we're kind of going to go through, this is basically a preview of what to expect on Saturday, May 20th, because this is kind of cool because the doctors that are in attendance here tonight, I know, I'm looking at the list right here, and I already know a bunch of them already scooped up seats for this. I already know who they are, and I know that a lot of them are bringing their teams with them. That's a big component of what Dr. Rosenberg will talk about. But basically what we're going to talk about tonight is, in essence, what to expect on Saturday, May 20th. So our dear Dr. Rosenberg, would you be so kind? We'll talk in kind of like I guess tonight in generalities, and then we'll talk in specifics too, where we'll get a chance, because there's definitely a few questions that the doctors asked me to ask you. So I already have some of those questions, and I'll ask you tonight on behalf of our panel here tonight. Thank you for sending them in. I appreciate you guys and gals. You guys are amazing. You are. You want it so bad. You want to fulfill your own potential. This is all about life's potential. What Dr. Rosenberg and Dr. Snapier, who you will get a chance to meet, who is her hunka burning love. That's her on the phone when it comes up. I'm not kidding. That's what it says. Yeah, that's another story. I'll tell you about it when we're all in LA together. But there's a rhyme, there's a reason, there's a purpose. There's a methodology, there's a system, there's a protocol. There's a communication, there's an ebb, there's a flow to why she is winning, and winning big, and is willing in her genius and her heart to say, no, we're all in this together. So Dr. Rosenberg, first question is, what can we expect on Saturday, May 20th at the first ever Los Angeles Centers of America Concierge Coaches, Dr. Brigitte Rosenberg Masterclass?
Thank you, Dr. Perry. Thank you, Dr. Kaplan, everybody that joined. First, two little disclaimers. Number one is Brigitte, not Brigitte, but that's okay, Dr. Kaplan. I love you too.
Tomato.
It was the same thing.
Sniper, you'll go over that. You go.
Exactly. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm very honored and humbled to be in this meeting and the Zoom, and then even having the opportunity to welcome everyone in LA in the center that we created for non-surgical spinal decompression. So this is really a great honor for me. We're very excited to have everyone. What is there to expect? So when we actually thought about, putting this together, I said, okay, I want to really share the different experience, and I will actually kind of go to the end and then to the beginning. For me, and a lot of you have been practicing for so many years, and I've been practicing for 28 years myself. I love my profession and I love what I do, but I really had a hard time, and I still have a hard time, and that's why I kind of do what I do, with everyone else putting our profession down. Whether it's the insurance companies, whether it's the other healthcare establishments, whatever that is, this really kind of touched me in the core, because we do so much for our patients. We care, we provide relief, we actually cure them from so many different conditions. And if anybody can think logically that you don't go to the cardiologist when you have a skin problems, you go to the dermatologist. That means when you have a spine issue, you go to the chiropractor, because that's what we're trained, that's what we're educated on, that's what we do the best, and we know how to do it. But for all these years, and since I started, things have been very different. Whether the medical doctor looked at you this way or that way, or just the patients in general kind of prefer to go one way or another way. All of that kind of played a role in how I practiced over the year and why I did what I did. And I think that we are worthy of being recognized, and not only worthy of being recognized, but being compensated fairly for the work that we do. And unfortunately, the system sometimes dictates of what you need to be compensated for. And so over the years, it was maybe the chiropractor, the acupuncturist, the physical therapist. But let me tell you, like I said when I was on stage at the decompression conference, the pendulum in healthcare is changing a lot. It actually changed. And when you are in a position now more than when you were before, that an orthopedic surgeon is getting paid $900 for a knee replacement, that kind of already speaks for itself to know where is the direction of healthcare going. And also with COVID and everything that happened a little before, and especially after, patients are educated, people are intelligent. They'll make a decision if you logically explain to them the reasoning behind it, and they will research to find out what are their options, because they will not just take and stay with the status quo because that's just because someone told them. Because in many cases, this status quo kind of failed them. And we do see a lot of patients in our context that had surgery or had epidural injection and it failed. And I saw it all the time under my PI umbrella, but I just never offered anything more than what I did, because why would I? They wouldn't pay me. So why would I invest in equipment if I cannot get reimbursed for it? But, joining this Centers of America and talking to Dr. Kaplan and Dr. Bard and all of my colleagues, because, we are all in this together. I didn't do it by myself. I spoke to Dr. Reza, and I spoke to Dr. Mark Lesagio and Dr. Lore, may rest in peace, and everyone else that I always see and meet in any kind of conference. And I ask questions, and we still communicate. We always have an open communication. We ask each other, we talk to each other, because that's what makes us great. So for me, this is what kind of resonated with the whole message of non-surgical spinal decompression was something that I was familiar with 30 years ago. But why would I buy a table for $120,000 if I can't bill for it under personal injury? So this was the kind of the mindset. And it's not just about the money, but you have to, business is business, and you have to kind of have a little bit more of a mindset of understanding, you can do and give, but it just has to make sense. So what the class is going to be about on May 20th is a lot about the mindset. It's how do we actually change the mindset to do things differently? It's available, and every doctor can do this. Yes, there are certain ways around it. There's certain one doctor may have this path and someone else may have a different path, and one have this philosophy and someone may have a different. But if I can give you some golden nuggets, and then you can take it to your own practice, and you can make it whatever you want to make it, because that's what I did when I went to Dr. Lure, when I went to all the masterclass, when I went to the boot camps and all the conferences, and I remember like flying to Florida so many times in 1 year, I think like 8-7 times. And my husband was like, do you think you need to go there again? We just were there 2 months ago. I'm like, I just need to hear it again, because I take a little bit more of what Dr. Kaplan taught, what Dr. Bart spoke about, and I make it my own. And so that's kind of like in a big picture of what I'm going to discuss. It's really the path of what we're doing internally in our office to make it successful. And it's not about the money. You're right. It's not. But I take what you say very literal. Like, I don't want to chase the money. Let the money chase the work. But in order for that to happen, you got to provide value. You got to provide value with the treatment you provide, with the equipment that you have, with the consultation that you do with a patient, with the level of education. When they ask you a question, clinical, you have all the answers. And if you don't, you know where to go reference to. So these are the things that really set us as doctors apart. So I will share all my secrets and how I came about all of this and my clinical protocols and the equipment. And a lot of it is, I took the recipe the Dissenters of America provided, and I just kind of like added a little bit more sugar and a little bit more vanilla and a little bit more this and that chocolate to make it really amazing. But I took the main thing from you guys and I just added to it. And a lot of people just like, well, maybe I'm just going to do a little bit of this and that's not going to work for me here. And, everybody needs to understand their area and their demographic. LA is not like Louisiana. It's not like Philadelphia. It's not like Miami. It's not like, wherever, Decatur for sure. It's a different market. So it's going to be interesting for a lot of you to see what is it that we're doing in our office. How does the office look like? The whole concept of the 4-season experience. You want to give those patients that high level experience because people will pay for value. They will pay for value. Gabe, my son, who's joined us and is helping with the marketing and, the business development piece of it, and just coming in with a fresh, young mindset that we are kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe Facebook, maybe Google, maybe whatever, but LA is a tough market. So we have to, master that. He always says, people will buy with logic. And if you give them, they will never not buy from you because it's expensive or cheap. If they see the value, they will buy, or they will pay, or they will accept the treatment. It's not about buying and selling. Like I don't like to use that word. I also don't like to use package. For example, that's like a one little golden nugget. I use the word treatment plan. I don't sell a package. I sell a treatment plan. I provide a treatment plan based on their need. I also don't use the word clinic. I use the word center. Like in our decompression center, this is what we do. We provide a treatment plan for your particular problem. So these are like just a little change of words kind of like makes a little bit difference. Oh, you guys do packages? No, we don't. We don't sell packages. We're not FedEx. We sell a plan. So these are kind of little things. Definitely there is, listen, it takes a lot of work to win, as Dr. Kaplan said. And it's not just sitting around and just reading the book or going to the boot camp. You actually have to implement and you have to execute on it. But it's baby steps. We know the clinical piece, and that's a hard piece to know. You have to really know what to do with a patient. But all the other pieces that I'll be happy to share and provide, and all the other pieces that I implemented from what you guys offered us through Dissenters of America, the pamphlets, the brochures, the flyer, the studies, I added more of my own, but that's the core. I use the Dissenters of America, a folder. I use all of the research studies. I always go back. I said, we do not do anything here that's not backed up by research. We do not use any medical equipment that's not FDA cleared. Like those are the words that I use. And so patients like, oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, yeah, we do not do anything. The reason why you need 24 sessions is because the research shows that's what you need. So in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to send that message across to the patient? But the more you practice, the more you use the tools that are given to you, and you add your own sauce to it. That's how you can become successful. Yes, of course, it's work, and you got to invest money to make money. No doubt about that. But that goes in every profession. Doesn't matter who you are. You're a dentist, you're an orthopedic surgeon, or you're a plastic surgeon. You got to spend and invest the money if you want to make the money. But you also want to know how to do it the right way, and not like, oh my God, it's scary. How much money am I going to invest? What am I going to buy? This is expensive. So putting it together, staging it, kind of planning for it, creating a whole, plan. I'm going to talk about the business. And even before Dissenters of America, even before anything, I always in my practice use the business concept and a business system, which I'll share. I'll share all of this with you guys. There is a system and processes for everything you do, even if you're a small organization with 2 employees, or you're a bigger organization with 5 employees, or something bigger with 20. No matter where you are, you can utilize those tools, and you make them, those are the tools you use. Just like when you cook, you got to have the right tools in the kitchen. Same thing goes with the office. So, we'll talk about the business piece, and I'll share all that stuff. Then we're going to talk about the sales and marketing piece, and I'm going to share all that stuff with you. And I'll share a whole half a day on the clinical protocol that we created in our office with the other doctor, with the other providers that we have, with what I learned from you, what I learned from all of you, what I learned from all the other seminars, and definitely what I added on our own to really get the result. Yes, we offer and we sell our treatment plans for more than 4,000, for more than 5,000, and more than 6,000. Our treatment plan can go average of $12,000. But that's not because I'm sitting here saying, oh my God, I do 12,000. That's not the idea is not that. The idea is that what do we offer that people are willing to pay $12,000? Because believe me, I'm in LA. There are people and doctors that provide decompression services down the street from me. I'm not the only one. But what set us apart than someone else? Why do we do that? Because there is a whole concept of why people will come to our center and not go to the guy down the street that charges them $6,000 for maybe more visits or maybe less visits. There is a reason for and listen, I'm not going to be here telling you that we get all the business and all the clients and all the patients. Well, they're patients, but we offer them a certain value that if they see the value, they'll drive to us and they'll come and get treated by us. And the results, I always say, the clinical outcome is the most important thing in my office. And I'm not, yes, maybe the numbers are, fancy and whatever. There is a lot of work that goes into this. This does not just happen by just sitting around and just being lucky. There's no just luck into this. There's a lot of work that goes into putting this together, but it's also continue being humble. I don't know all the answers. And I sent Dr. Kaplan yesterday an email with a full explanation and an MRI and an image. I'm like, I can't get, this patient has to get better and I cannot crack the code. We tried this and this and this and that, and it doesn't work. So that's the beauty about being part of this organization, is actually discussing it with each other and talking to each other. And we do have one little, surprise and one little secret that I'm only going to share here. I'm learning it from you, Dr. Bart. I'm only going to share this the first time in the world that you're ever going to hear this. But we are currently in communications with a orthopedic spine surgeon in Cedars-Sinai Hospital, which is a big hospital here in Los Angeles. And we're planning to do a shared clinical trial study about the Acuspina because he so much believes in it. So this is just a secret that I'm just sharing with you. We don't know all the details. I'm gonna probably share more details in May, but this is something we're working with and talking about. So, being in LA also, yeah, sometimes you'll get someone that's a little bit more of a celebrity. We get people that are kind of like an high end. And if I can share, because of HIPAA, their names at the time you guys come to me in May 20th, then I will. But, these people are seeking for another alternative. Patients do not want to go under the knife. Patients do not want to get epidural and injections. They don't want to do it. They want to stay. They don't want to just go with what the status quo is. They want to try something else. So they're searching. But if the office or the center or the doctor is going to kind of catch their eye, and it's not just going to be just another office down the street, the chiropractic office down the street, they will really give it a try. They're really going to try it because it's not about the money. It's about the results. People want to get better. They want to be able to walk again. They want to be able to function again. And so those are all the things that I'm going to be sharing. There's just so much information. And we're preparing a book, which I'm going to forward to you, Dr. Bard, in a day or two. It's almost done. It's like 100 pages long with all our protocols, procedures, manuals. It's a lot. And it's going to be very exciting, except the fact that we're in LA and the weather. I mean, there's not everything is perfect in LA. Okay, I'm going to be the first to tell you, but the weather is pretty good here. So I think that you guys are going to enjoy it. We have a fun-filled day with a lot of information, activity, obviously good food, because we always like to entertain and feed people very well. And I think I'm looking forward, and I think you guys are all going to enjoy it a lot. And Gabe, if you're still on the call, I'm not sure, you can kind of
I'm here.
And chime in, Gabe, because he's been like my little power partner, kind of watching all of this happen and starting to kind of see, I was always a working mom. I never stayed home. So my kids always saw me working full time, running two offices, even though it was only personal injury. But this is just different. Personally, for me, that's true. I was a whole year with one table sitting, collecting dust. I didn't know what to do with it. Didn't know how to even start, but Dr. Kaplan just kind of knew how to push me and told me, if you just do this and follow those steps, you'll be very successful. So the success does leave clues, but I didn't do it on my own. I'm not by myself. I have a team, and without a team, you can't do that. But thanks to all of you guys, Dr. Kaplan, Dr. Barr, Centers of America, all the information, that's what really sets us apart, doctors, from anyone else in the industry. Nobody has the information we have. Nobody has the ability to market the way we have with this Centers of America website. It is true, and I'll share all that. This is really the way it is. I'll let Gabe speak a little bit about everything else we do, but it's just so much information, and it's very exciting. And again, I thank you. I'm very honored and humbled and grateful to have the opportunity to do this. I love my profession. I know you do too. And Gabe, take it from there.
I'll share a little something before Gabe comes on. I'll share a little bit about who Gabe really is. And for those of you who were fortunate enough to be at the National Spinal Decompression Certification, we made this grand announcement from the stage. This was really a surprise. It took a little bit of planning, or really a lot of planning, to start to say, hey, is this a possibility? And then we did the big announcement. So as many of you know, historically, after the National Spinal Decompression Certification, which is really like a wedding, a bar mitzvah, a quince, a sweet 16, and more all into one, obviously, because there's a tremendous amount of planning. For the past 2 years in a row, what I do is 2 days later, I hop in a plane, and where do I go from Florida? I go straight to Beverly Hills, California. I go hang out in a hotel. I eat fish at a place called Sugarfish, which is her very good sushi restaurant, who I love. But she goes, no, I'm taking you to Nobu. I'm taking you to these other cool places. I'm taking you guys here and there. And the last time that we did it, I got the opportunity, as some of you know, to actually visit Dr. Rosenberg. And that's where I knew that this will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of our family of doctors. And when I came back, right away, Dr. Kaplan said to me, right when I got back, he goes, so what do you think? And I said, what I think? I said, let me tell you what I think. That in essence, there's always things that you see on the surface. And then when you pull the curtain back, you start to see really the nucleus, the ebb and the flow, the engine that drives how the machine works. So some of you know this, most of you don't. Dr. Snapier and Dr. Rosenberg actually have 2 children. and I don't know if Ariel's going to be there, but I do know that one of them will be there. And Dr. Kaplan said to me, he said, what do you think? And I said, I got to tell you, I said, there's really a star of a show here. And the star of the show really is the person behind the scenes who's helping to run the organization, the accounting, the management, the marketing, the staffing, the team meetings, not just for one office, I hope you're sitting down for this, but for 2 ultra successful centers, meaning her husband, Dr. Snapier, also one of the most successful dentists. So basically, Gabriel, graduate of UCLA, phenomenal business mind. Kepi, can I say that? Can I say Kepi? Is that okay? I grew up with that word. Great business mind, but he understands why and how people choose a doctor. He understands how the exchange takes place. He understands how to position 2 clinics, 2 different specialties, for an incredible amount of fee-for-service exchanges. And I was blown away. And I said, I came back, I said, boy, because I got a chance to talk with him privately and personally at dinner and beyond. And that's when I said, whoa, no, he has 10 lifetimes of knowledge. And I asked him, I said, remember that night, I said, would you be willing to share with everybody in attendance how you are basically running this operation behind the scenes? Because if success leaves clues, I know there's a lot of office managers. I know there's a lot of team players that will be attending that really want to hear from you as to how you've put this whole thing together. Can you share a little bit about what to expect? Gabriel, on May 20th.
Absolutely. And Dr. Bart, I appreciate the little introduction, a grandiose introduction rather. Some nice words, and I appreciate that. But I would just say I'm a simple, humble guy trying to, build a business with my family. So I would say, the bottom line value of coming to visit, our locations and to come to the seminar May 20th. Obviously, you're gonna have a lot of fun because we're very, very fun and exciting group of people, and we enjoy what we do. But I think you're gonna really get to see a machine that we spent a lot of time, spent a lot of money, a lot of energy into making a well-oiled machine. And if you're somebody who's very serious about taking your practice to the next level, whether it's not just from a clinical perspective, but most importantly, here from an operational revenue generation perspective, change your income, change your lifestyle. But I think you're gonna really enjoy our event. Honestly, I think it's gonna be very valuable for you if that's the direction you're looking to go into, because it's not you see Dr. Rosenberg going on stage and you see us chatting and you see us having a great time and all of that is amazing, but you don't necessarily get to see all the failures and all the difficulties and all the the testing and the trials and the tribulation that we have to go through to get to that, because it's not easy to build a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 a month facility. These are big numbers and we all get excited when it comes down to it, right? But ultimately, I think getting to learn a lot about what makes a facility so successful, what drives revenue, what drives success, what drives patients coming back, and how do you get somebody to give you $20,000? How do you get somebody to pay $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 for a treatment plan, right? Maybe I'm saying these numbers and that may be surprising. Like, what? Whoa, is this ethical even? Believe me, it's ethical. It is definitely ethical, but it's all about the kind of value and the service that you provide and what is incorporated in your treatment plan. And I think if you guys are going to listen to me speak and Dr. Rosenberg speak, of course, there as well in our presentation, we will debunk some of the myths of Los Angeles being the you can only make money in a big market. No, you cannot only make money in a big market. In fact, it's way harder in a major market to make that kind of money. It is way harder to get that kind of case acceptance because a big market is so massive. To attract 80% of the market to come to one location is very difficult when you have 80 mile radius or 100-mile radius of a market. So, and we'll talk more about that in marketing, right? That that may be a little bit much right now, overwhelming right now, but when we break it down, you guys will understand. But I think most importantly is we're going to have a lot of fun and we're going to talk business. We're going to talk not only how to achieve clinical excellence, but we're going to talk also how to achieve financial excellence. How do we take your practice to the next level, double, triple, quadruple, whatever these goals are. The most important thing is it really comes down to the culture and building a system. You got to build a system and you have to have a great culture, which means you have to have a phenomenal team. And that is the secret ingredient. It's really having a phenomenal team, which ultimately equates to phenomenal culture. So that's my little 2 cents. I don't know if you want me to give any more, but thank you for letting me speak here and share.
No, I'm excited. I mean, in other words, you just ding, 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 ding. You know what I mean? You just hit so many bullet points right now. Notice the way he speaks. Notice the language. Know how succinct, exact, and direct he is in his approach. He understands that he reversed engineered this thing from the beginning. He saw the outcome. He saw what he wanted to achieve. He knew the infrastructure of the healthcare model that was presented, yet at the same time took his own studies, business acumen, incredible desire to grow 2 successful, ultra successful practices, and to start on May 20th to get into the nuances, to get into the details, to get into the specifics, to get into the culture, which I love that you speak about, the culture of success, because that's just like chiropractic, this is an inside out job. But I know this, and this is, I'll never forget the first time I ever spoke to your mom. There's certain people in your life you never forget. You never forget. And the first time I ever spoke to your mom, she says to me this. She goes, you know why I like Dr. Kaplan and you? Now, we haven't met yet. We hadn't met. And I said, why? I'll never forget it. I was sitting in the same chair, as a matter of fact. It was an afternoon. I'll never forget it. She goes, you remind me a lot, you guys, of this. I don't know if you know, his name is Tony Robbins. I said, yeah, I think I've heard of him before. And I said, that's a great compliment. But let me share something with all of you tonight that was the first thing that I ever learned from Tony Robbins. First thing. And he said this in his book, Unlimited Power, right in the beginning. He says, success is easy. All you got to do is find somebody that's having it and then simply match, mirror, and model exactly what they do, how they think, how they speak, how they act. Just do what they're doing, and you'll have the same results. That's the whole purpose of Masterclass. Because Dr. Kaplan and I know, we've had discussion, we've done this so many times. If we can walk in an office, you too, all of you on this call tonight, on the Zoom meeting, if you could walk in an office for 5 minutes, I could put you in 10 different offices. You'll know what's working, what's not working. You'll know their technology. You'll know their systems. You'll know their patient education tools. You'll know how they bridge from an exam from a consultation to an exam to an x-ray. You'll know the office layout. You'll say in your mind, is this worth $5,000 a program? $10,000 a program, $15,000 a program. Notice I changed the word program. I was going to say package, but Dr. Rosenberg would spank me if I said package tonight. So little things. What did Dr. Kaplan and I always talk about? We talk about not recommending care. We talk about what? You know the words, prescribing treatment. Right? When your staff is talking, it's talking about the prescription of, we talk about the prescription of treatment. Little words. You want to know why doctors can go from a 50% close rate to an 80% close rate with just little tweaks, little turns, little twists. I'm so juiced and pumped and excited for May 20th. I'm probably not going to be able to sleep the night before. I really am. I can't tell you how many doctors have thanked me personally. Thanked me personally. I said, really? I said, the person to thank, and they said, no, I know, I got to thank Dr. Kaplan too. I will. When I see him, I'm going to thank him. I'm saying, no, the person you want to thank is Dr. Rosenberg, because it was Dr. Rosenberg in her heart that said, I want to carry this tradition on. I am putting up real numbers, big numbers, good numbers, healthy numbers, but my numbers are only reflective of my attention to detail for my patients. My patients are being under-promised and over-delivered. My patients are walking out with a wow experience. My patients are loving the package that I give them. Now, when I say package, what I mean is the take-home package. One of the things Dr. Rosenberg has done incredibly genius is she gives them a kit, a package, if you will, to take home with them that supports what she's doing. Yes, her and her husband are the genius behind Mineralgia, which we'll talk about, our favorite topical analgesic. I remember the first time I talked to her, and then I got the Mineralgia. I said, you know what this reminds me of? I said, you're like Shark Tank. You remind me of somebody that should be on Shark Tank because you packaged it perfectly, you presented it perfectly, you did the science on it. We're going to talk all about that there. There's so many little tweaks and turns and twists and little nuances and little educational things, and I can't wait to see your booklet. The reason that we asked for it up front is we're going to print them all for the doctors only in attendance. The only way to get this book is that you have to be there. This is her gift, and she wants to award everybody who's coming. Yes, in addition to that, we will carry on the tradition that Dr. Kaplan started, which I love. Oh my gosh. He says to me years ago, he says, do you know what a master's in decompression equals? And I said to him, what do you mean? You mean like the master class? Like, what does that equate to? He says, yeah. He goes, you know what we call that? And I said, what? He says, that's called an MD. I said, what do you mean an MD? He says, yes, the doctors are now in MD. So I said, what do you mean? You mean an MID? He says, yes, exactly. You'll have a master's in decompression. So we're going to give you an incredible certificate if you're able to get a seat that day that you can hang on your wall, shout to the masses. And this is the big one. If you remember, this is the big, like, golden championship award, and you will have a master's in decompression by attending the master class. One of the things I'm super excited for that I had a chance when I met your team, you brought how many, 11, 12 people to the National Spinal Decompression Certification. Talk about being all in. Talk about a team being in total congruence, totally understanding. They're finishing her sentences. Her team is literally finishing her sentences because they know what she's thinking invisibly. That's how your staff communicates with the doctor, and the doctor communicates with the staff invisibly. Dr. Kaplan said these great words. Before he comes back on, he shared this with me, and this is it in a nutshell. You know the words. He said to me this years ago. He said, if you could see the invisible, you could do the impossible. And on Saturday, May 20th, I promise you, the invisible becomes visible for all the doctors that are fortunate enough to be there. As you know, we sent out an email and we said there's no seats left. If you remember, like it's closed out. If you got that email, we said, sorry, thank you, we appreciate it. We're going to consider doing a wait list. And then what we did was we opened up 5 more seats. Basically what we did was we figured out, we did a head count, we did a firm head count, because we have a lot of staff coming. This is a great opportunity for your staff. Personally, if it's me, I'm bringing as many staff as I can. So we had to figure out how many staff are coming, how many doctors are coming, how much room there is, because we're bringing in chairs for this event. In other words, what she's doing is to make room, she's actually moving some of the tables. So we have actually 2 training rooms going on that day, one in one side of the office, one in the other side of the office, because the doctors are going to be trained on one side. The staff and the team are going to be trained on the other side in the reception area, which has got a gorgeous reception area. So we're going to mix and match this whole thing. Everything will come together. All roads lead to DISC. And especially on Saturday, May 20th, you are in for a treat. The invisible becomes visible. Dr. Kaplan, before we go tonight, anything you would love to share about this magical moment that even Dr. Jason Kaplan is flying out for?
You know, Winston Churchill said it best. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. And, you know, that's what it comes down to. And Gabriel, to your young genius, what you said is, you know, it's not just about demographics. Matter of fact, in a major market, you have to spend more to do more. I had one doctor that said, you know, I need to get more new patients. I said, what did you do? He said, well, last month I spent $500. You're going to love this, Gidget, in Google AdWords. And I only got 3 leads and I closed 1. I said, well, how much did you close it for? He said, $5,000. I said, hold on. You paid $500 and you got $5,000 in return. He says, yeah, but I should have done better. But hold on. That's a 10-to-1 return. So I said, imagine, Gabriel, right? Simple mathematics. I said, imagine if you had spent $1,000, right? And you would have closed 2 cases for $10,000. 10-to-1
Doc,
return.
you kept it simple. I was thinking, what if he spent $5,000?
Right. Well, hold on. But Gabriel, right? But chiropractors, let's be called a spade. They can be cheap, Gabriel. And you know what? When you're in a marketing area, I know that, you know, Brigitte, I love you in every language. Light, right? In Hebrew, I love you. How do you say I love you? How do you say I love you in Hebrew, Gabriel?
That means
exactly. I just said that. Watch this. I'll say it. So anyway, now they understand that I speak Hebrew fluently now that I've been to Israel. Okay. What I know is, you know, there are a lot of little bullet points that we said tonight, Dr. Rosenberg. He's a safer name is to call you Dr. Rosenberg. And you said, you know, I call it packages, but to the patients, I agree with you. Treatment plans it is good. And Gabriel, I agree with you, because what I did in my WIN formula, I not only is WIN whatever is necessary, the W stands for what does it take to be successful, or why should they choose you? But the I now, Gidget, because of you, Brigitte, Dr. Rosenberg, is implement. Not every doctor implements. Not every doctor pays the price that you have paid. And behind all of his successes, Gabriel, what I love about your mother, and I want everybody to understand this, is Dr. Rosenberg did not do decompression before she came to us. She was 100% PI. And when I say to my doctors at every boot camp, what's your PVA? Not patient visit average, what's your value average? And I know that, Gabriel, you and mom and dad, I know in your staff, you create value. And see, that's what people pay for. It's not just for decompression. They pay for value. They pay for love. I can look any one of you here tonight in the eye, Craig and Mark, and say, no coach, no coaches will ever care for you more than Perry and I will care for you. I want you to be successful. And I want you people to know, why do we do this? 3 reasons. Number one, over the last year, we gave $110,000 to Life University. Not 1,000, not 10,000. Dr. Bard and I have donated over $110,000 to Life University. And I showed that to Dr. LaMarche. Why? Because you make a living by what you get. You like a life by what you give. Oh, and by the way, we gave them a table. And then we had to write the books. Oh, and by the way, the student books, all the money goes to Life University. We do not take a dime from that. Not a dime, Gabriel. Why? Because you make, isn't that right? What do we call it on Yom Kippur, right? You got to give tzedakah. You got to give tzedakah in life. Tzedakah, my friends, is tithing. If you're a Jew, it's tzedakah. If you're a Gentile, it's tithing. We have to give back. But you know what we have to give to? We have to give to our profession, because our profession needs us. And Brigitte, and we need you. And Gabriel, we need you. And that's why we do what we do. So we give to the university. We will donate. They get a table. Now they want another table. Kaiser wants a table. Everybody wants. Everybody wants. But what are you willing to do to make your life special? And Dr. Bard and I are dedicated to you, our clients. We're dedicated to your family. So like I said, a year, Dr. Rosenberg went without doing decompression. Then I said, Dr. Rosenberg, you need to do this. And eventually she trusted me. Because you know what the secret, doctors, is to success? It's trust. I trust you. Your patients need to trust you. Dr. Rosenberg trusted Dr. Bard and I. So when she talks about PVA, she'll show you how to give value, because her value is love, it's honor, it's commitment. So tonight, as I go to the New York Yankee game, I want to say I honor every one of you for being here tonight. And then I ask this question: if I was a client of Concierge Coaches, why would I not be on this tonight? There was no cost. We give and give and give. And my son would say, Dad, when do you stop giving? And you know what my answer with him, Dr. Rosenberg, and Gabriel would be? Never. We love you all. Thanks for joining us tonight. For those that want to take their practice to the next level, here's what I'm going to say to you. Money-wise, want to talk money? What is one new patient worth to you? What is the value of a new patient? I will promise you that any person that comes to California will get at least one new patient, which pays for more than the trip. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. Well, Life University will give you your money back, but we'll get you your money back. That's the way it is. Remember what I'm saying tonight. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. I give my heart, my soul, my passion to you and to my profession. God bless you. Have a great evening.
If you have your tickets already, if you have your reserved seat, you received a confirmation packet with all the details, with the hotel, with the information, and more. So we cannot wait to see all of you at Dr. Rosenberg's office. Everyone will be at the hotel. We'll work on transportation. In other words, straight shot going right over to her office. Food will be brought in. And I have a feeling, Dr. Rosenberg, share with us before you go tonight, there's a rumor going around that we're going to be hanging out maybe at a restaurant on Saturday night. Maybe there might be a place on Saturday night where all of us will get the chance to get together, share what we learn, hang out, share some goodwill. Would you share that before we go?
We have to leave some surprises, Dr. Bard.
All right, that's just the rumor. It's just the rumor. That's all I'm saying.
Who is having more fun than us? We always
Who
have
is
fun.
having more fun than us?
Yes.
If life will give you chances, it'll give you opportunities. Sometimes these opportunities are fleeting. When you see a chance, take it. In the great words of Stevie Winwood, for your old rock and rollers, that's the song. When you see a chance, take it. This is your moment. This is your opportunity. I am counting down the days. If you don't have a seat, decompressionmasterclass.com. Send it in before it closes out. It will close out, I promise. And we can't wait to see you guys. Thank you to Dr. Rosenberg.
We have a big office, but we don't have a humongous place to put too many chairs. So we really do need to kind of keep it because it's a big decompression room. We have to move some of the tables. So it would be, if you're interested, it would be great. So we can know the count of the seats. Just make sure we have enough room, but we'll have a great breakfast and lunch and we'll go out to dinner and it will be fun.
I feel like I'm back in Israel. I look forward to it.
It's not going to be the same breakfast as you had at the Intercontinental Hotel, Dr. Kaplan.
No! Whoa!
It's going to be similar.
All right. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
Can't wait to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here. We will see you in Los Angeles, California on Saturday, May 20th. Be well. See you there.